Welcome to Connecting Billerica, presented by the Billerica Alliance. My name is Caroline Catlander, and I am the Executive Director of the Alliance. On today's show, we're going to be speaking to Tara Duplaga from EMD Millipore, and later on we'll speak with a few representatives from Habitat for Humanity. So welcome, Tara, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You are our first guest, so I appreciate you being here. So you're with EMD Millipore, located down on Middlesex Turnpike.
On 290 Concord Road.
Excellent, excellent. So can you tell me just a little bit for our viewers who maybe don't know a lot about what Millipore does, if you could just tell us a little bit about the company?
Sure. So we are the #2 provider of tools and services within the life sciences industry. Okay. What that means is we will provide research institutions and pharmaceutical companies with the tools they need to do their research or to make a drug, for instance.
Okay, great. And we were talking before the show started a little bit. You said about 3 years ago you did the merger with EMD Serono?
Correct. So 3 years ago we were purchased by Merck KGaA
okay.
of Darmstadt, Germany. And so we now are a division of Merck. And EMD Serono is our sister company, which is right down the road here in Billerica.
Right. Okay, great. Good. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. I love what I do.
Good.
I oversee the charitable giving program for EMD Millipore. And what that means is I handle the grants. I work with a lot of nonprofit partners like Billerica Alliance and other agencies within the local area and throughout the United States to help them with their business needs or social needs. Basically, whatever we need to do to help the local community, we're happy to pitch in and give a hand.
Great, excellent. And so what are some of the programs that you support through the giving program?
One of the things that we do is through our grants program, we will provide a grant to some of the local agencies. You know, if it's a capital campaign like we did with the Billerica Boys and Girls Club, it helps them, you know, build a new building. Yep. We've also worked closely with Massachusetts Biotechnology Education Foundation. Okay. And that's a really important company and agency, and what they do is they try to promote STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the classroom. We worked with them and with the local officials at Billerica High School to get a STEM program in place at Billerica High. So that was a really exciting program, and we worked with a teacher by the name of Renee Jensen, who is wonderful. And we had sponsored Renee a few years back in our labs for the summer. She was able to learn some of our techniques and some of the things that we do at our company and bring that knowledge back to her classroom.
Oh, great.
And since she's brought her class back to our labs for the past 4 years, and it's a great experience. I know our employees love it. I think the students get a lot out of it. And just a quick plug for Renee, she was able to get the first AP level biology class at Billerica High with the local education officials last year.
Wow.
So we're really happy to be part of that.
That's fantastic. And it's so nice too, I think, when you can bring the students into a real life environment. So they understand kind of what they're doing in the classroom and how that translates into real life, and to see people, you know, working. I think it's fantastic. So that's great.
Exactly. And I think part of the other reason why we bring students into the classroom is certainly there are opportunities there to be a scientist or a researcher or an engineer, but there are other opportunities there as well. So we want them to really see that, you know, if the sciences aren't something you're interested in, there's plenty of other opportunities within a company like EMD Millipore.
Right, and that's a good point too, because every, you know, larger company has HR and finance and marketing and those kind of, you know, departments. So you're right. They may not want to be a scientist, but there could still be a fit for them there someday. So that's interesting. I had read on your website a little bit about some of the major kind of programs you've worked on. I thought one that was really interesting was the charity water project. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So a few years ago, we identified Charity Water as a strong nonprofit partner for us. Back in the day, we had provided filters to filter water for use in a number of ways in the laboratory. And we thought that, given our history, possibly providing or supporting clean water, clean drinking water, might be a good initiative to follow and to support. So that's something that we did. And Charity Water is a great organization that we support. It's global, and they have been able to really track how far our support has gone.
Oh, that's great.
So the past few years, they'll send us little cards and they'll say your $5,000 went to providing new drinking water wells that helped 300 people in this village. So
Wow.
we really can see the impact that our donations have made. So
Yeah.
it's been wonderful.
That's great, and I think certainly in a country where we take drinking water for granted,
We certainly do.
and many countries don't. So that's fantastic. And you do a lot of things. The other one we were talking about the Patriots actually earlier, but the Vince Wilfork Foundation, yeah,
Yes.
and the diabetes. So what kind of work do you do with him?
So we support his foundation, and Vince has teamed up with the Joslin Diabetes Center in Boston and has raised a lot of money for diabetes research, and a number of our products support are used in diabetes research. So we thought that it was a good fit for us to support. And Vince has been wonderful. He's a real, a quote-unquote champion of diabetes and diabetes research. So it's been really a great opportunity for our employees to get involved in. We have raffles. We raffle off Patriots tickets on a regular basis. And for a small fee, the money all goes to the Vince Wilfork Foundation.
That's great.
And last spring, we had, basically it was the site. We have about 10 sites, and the site that raised the most money for the Vince Wilfork Foundation got a visit from Vince. Oh. So our Jaffrey, New Hampshire site won, unfortunately. Sorry, Billerica, but our Jaffrey, New Hampshire site won, and Vince and a few of his teammates went up and paid our employees there a visit. It was amazing. Yeah. It was great.
He's someone who you just hear such good things about.
He's wonderful.
It's nice to hear that a local company's working with him.
Absolutely.
So in terms of the projects that you guys do, you do a lot of things locally, and then, like we talked about, some of the projects globally. Sure. I know that you've worked with the Boys and Girls Club in the past. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did with them?
Yes. So they've been a long-time grantee of ours. So we have provided grants for them over the years, and most recently we were involved with their capital campaign for the new building. Yes. And I was there when it was first built, and I saw before and after, so we could see that there was really a need there for funding and for a new facility, and it's just wonderful. So we're so glad to be a part of that and continue to support them. They do wonderful work.
That's great. And then you've also paid for some of the additional services, right, related to that project?
The project that we were involved in was the cleanup day, and that was at Lamson Field.
That was a separate one, I'm sorry.
That was separate, that's okay. So that was part of our Earth Day, or we call it Earth Month at EMD Millipore. Okay. And so we bring employees out every year, and we go to Lamson Field, and they get their hands dirty. They pick up trash, they weed, they paint, they plant flowers. And so what's so great about this project is that it's also right next to the Boys and Girls Club, which is a longtime grantee. Right. And the additional costs that we picked up were for some of the landscaping services and for the parking space striping that needed to be done there.
That's nice. That's great. And I think it was about 35 or 40 employees out there that day?
Yes, we had a big group. It was great.
Fantastic.
It was great.
So you also do some work at the Vining School with their reading program, the Vining Elementary School. And is that an ongoing program that you do?
It is. We've done this for about 7 years now. This is one of my favorite projects.
Yeah, the kids are so cute.
The kids are amazing, and the school officials are wonderful, and our employees really get a lot out of it. So what it is we pair our employees with students at the Vining School who may need a little assistance with their reading comprehension. Yeah. So volunteers sign up, and for 1 hour, once a week throughout the school year, they will go and read to their assigned student. And really, it's a wonderful way for students to build their reading skills, but it's a great community service project for our employees. I've gotten nothing but wonderful feedback from the students, but for our employees too, who really came away with it with so much more than they ever expected.
That's fantastic. I think the kids always get excited when there's someone from the outside coming in.
Absolutely.
And they have such great teachers, but they just get so excited when someone's coming in.
Exactly.
Now, will you be doing that program again this year?
We will,
Not to put you on the spot.
No, we do it every year. It's a very popular program, so absolutely we'll be doing it again. And EMD Serrano does it again. We've gotten them involved as well, so as far as I know that they'll be participating as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be. That's great. Yeah, Miss Hayden, who is the principal over there, knew as of last year, I believe, is phenomenal. So that's good. I'm glad you guys are going to be continuing that. So why do you think it's so important for EMD Millipore to support Billerica? Sure.
Well, I really think that giving back is important. It's good business, but it goes far beyond that. It's really the right thing to do. And giving back has been a priority for our company for as long as the foundation's been in place, even longer. Yeah. So, I think, for example, we bring the students to our sites and we show them what it's like to be a scientist or to be
Right.
a researcher. It really exposes them to possibilities that they never thought before possible. So it's a good learning experience for the students, but down the road it's good for our economy. It's potentially feeding the workforce pool and
Right.
providing us with qualified candidates down the road. So
Right.
we really see it as a win-win opportunity.
That's fantastic. I mean, you think you're starting with them as young as elementary school.
I know.
You never know. Who
You
could end
never
up
know.
there.
You never know.
So, I often find with big companies, they either have a corporate culture of community service or they don't. And you
Sure.
guys obviously have a very strong culture of giving back with at EMD Millipore. So how do you engage the employees? How do you get them on board with these programs?
Sure. Well, I think the first thing to do, we really need to identify the needs in the community. So we really try and work closely with a lot of the nonprofit agencies
Yeah.
and organizations like Billerica Alliance to find out what the needs are. And then we reach out to our employees and we say, what would you like to do? Do you have an
Right.
interest in working with kids? Some people have reached out to me and said, I'm a former teacher. How can you use me? I'd love to give back. I don't have a lot of time outside of the workplace. I know you have these opportunities. What can I do? Put me to work.
Oh, that's great.
So, and we've really found that the appetite is there. Employees really want to participate in these programs.
That's
and
great.
we participate in a number now, so there's quite a range of opportunities for different employees across the board.
That's good. And do you start day one with them when they come in for orientation? Is it something that you introduce them to?
We do,
Yeah.
yes. During our
That's good.
orientation program, we let them know about the charitable giving program.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the EMD Millipore Giving Program, and it's part of our larger corporate social responsibility initiative.
Good.
And we let them know about the different ways they can get involved, from a social aspect, giving back and working with kids, to an environmental aspect, really getting their hands dirty, like I said before,
Yeah.
learning about
Literally getting
recycling,
dirty
literally
too,
getting
yeah.
their hands dirty, recycling, product take back, just really educating them on what the different opportunities are, what we do as a company, and what they can do on a local level.
Good. So what advice would you give a company who's maybe doesn't have this culture yet, but they're looking to build these kind of programs within their company? What advice would you give them?
I would say that they should really reach out to their community, work with organizations like yours, like community, the Billerica Alliance, and also, with Chamber of Commerce. Find out
Yep.
where are the needs. There are always organizations out there that are looking for people to lend a hand. But I would also say, there's so many opportunities out there. It makes sense to align these projects with their business objectives. So we really focus on education, science, health, sustainability as our major initiatives.
That's fantastic. And for those companies who aren't yet quite so civic-minded, what would you tell them are the benefits to becoming involved in the community?
Well, what we've learned in talking to our HR department is that it's such an important component. It's really something that potential employees are looking at, particularly millennials. They want to know, not only do they want to know, but it's expected that the company gives back now. It's not just no longer a nice to have.
Yeah.
It's something that really companies across the board are doing.
That's
so I would
nice.
say that if they want to be taken seriously and get top-notch candidates, this giving back and developing a community service program is something that really they should take seriously.